This story is like the Arab Romeo and Juliet. Princess Michelle of Saudi Arabia fell in love with a man while studying abroad. She tried to escape with him without her family knowing, but they were both executed as their relationship was seen as adultery, a crime punishable by death in Saudi Arabia. What could be more tragic than being killed for love? How did this story change many laws in Saudi Arabia? Watch the full video to find out. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to get notified when I upload a new video. Let's go. Life in Saudi Arabia is not easy, especially for women. Even a simple conversation with a man can lead to the death penalty. This applies not just to ordinary people, but also to members of the royal family. That's exactly what happened to Princess Michelle. She was the daughter of Prince Fahd bin Mohammed and the granddaughter of Prince Mohammed bin Abdulaziz, who was the brother of King Khalid, the ruler of Saudi Arabia at the time. From an early age, Princess Michelle was often given whatever she wanted. This likely explains why she was allowed to study abroad, as long as she followed her family's rules. While attending school in Beirut, Lebanon, a more liberal country compared to conservative Saudi Arabia, she fell in love with a man named Khalid al-Shair Mohal, the nephew of the Saudi ambassador to Lebanon. Their relationship was kept secret because of the potential repercussions they could face. It was a very risky affair because the princess was already promised to marry one of her cousins. Technically, she was committing adultery just by spending time alone with another man. Unfortunately, upon returning to Saudi Arabia, their lives took a tragic turn when a servant informed her grandfather about her boyfriend. Seized with rage, her grandfather declared that his granddaughter had dishonored the family and that the only way to restore their honor was through her blood. When Michelle learned of her fate, she decided to escape with her lover. First, she faked her own drowning, scattering her belongings along a clifftop to make it appear as though she had taken her own life. 4 days later, Princess Michelle, disguised as a man with her hair cut short, went to the airport hoping to leave the country with Khalid. However, the country was on high alert, and everyone was looking for her. During her daring escape, she was spotted at Jeddah Airport by passport control officials. Both the princess and Khalid were arrested and accused of adultery, but surely they would both get a fair trial? Under Sharia law, a person can only be convicted of adultery by the testimony of 4 adult male witnesses to the act or by their own admission of guilt, stating 3 times in court, "I have committed adultery." Her family had urged her not to confess, but instead to simply promise never to see her lover again. Her father pleaded with her, saying, "Do you realize that if you admit your guilt, I can't save you? Even the king can't save you. You only have to say one thing, that you will never see this boy again. Please." However, in the courtroom, she proudly confessed, "I have committed adultery 3 times, which was what the court needed to sentence her to death. On July 15, 1977, the sentence was carried out. Michelle was blindfolded and shot in the head, giving her a quick and merciful death, unlike the stoning typically practiced in such cases. Her boyfriend was forced to watch before he was beheaded by one of the princess's male relatives with a sword. Remember, the princess was only 19 years old, and her only crime was being in love with a man. Despite the opportunity to perhaps deny her feelings, Michelle chose not to. Her fate was sealed by her love, and she faced it with the same resolve that had driven her to pursue it in the first place. The case attracted significant international attention after a Westerner in the crowd sent photos to the press. The British television documentary Death of a Princess depicted the story, leading to a major diplomatic row between Saudi Arabia and the United Kingdom. King Khalid, the king of Saudi Arabia at the time, reportedly offered $11 million to the network to suppress the film, but this effort failed. Since Michelle's death, life for women in Saudi Arabia has become even more restrictive. Religious police increased their patrols in markets, stores, and public places to prevent interactions between men and women. Those accused of adultery were swiftly apprehended and punished. Her execution is also believed to have contributed to the establishment of Saudi Arabia's strict guardianship rules, which forbid women from leaving the country without the permission of a male guardian. Princess Michelle's tragic love story can be intriguingly linked to the story of Princess Miriam Al Khalifa, a member of the Bahraini royal family who, in contrast, successfully escaped with her U.S. Marine lover Jason Johnson. The two met by chance in 1999 in a supermarket, and a spark flew between them immediately. They began dating soon after, but their secret relationship didn't last long. When Princess Miriam's father discovered the affair, he placed her under house arrest. However, instead of facing punishment, Miriam chose to escape with her lover. Miriam and Jason's plan was audacious. Since U.S. military personnel were usually allowed to board planes without inspection, Jason helped Miriam disguise herself in a U.S. Marines uniform, and they fled Bahrain together. On arriving in the U.S., Miriam sought asylum, and they began building a new life together. Their story attracted significant media attention, and they were featured in many glossy magazines. A film titled The Princess and the Marine was even made about their story. Miriam and Jason got married, but their relationship faced difficulties over time. In 2002, just a few years after their marriage, they announced their separation and later divorced. Miriam returned to Bahrain, reconciled with her father, and married one of the country's top diplomatic officials. Unfortunately, even today, many princesses from the Middle East are still not as free as one might expect. 4 of King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia's daughters have been confined for nearly 23 years. They have been held in heavily guarded buildings on the palace grounds in Jeddah overlooking the Red Sea. Reports indicate they were drugged, starved, and denied medical care. One of the princesses, Sahar, claimed that their imprisonment was punishment for speaking out about the injustices and inequality faced by women in Saudi Arabia. The news of their confinement became public in 2014 when they reached out to journalists. Despite international attention, the princesses remain trapped in the palace to this day. Unfortunately, there are many other similar cases. Princess Mishal's execution is seen as the ultimate sacrifice for love. She chose to die rather than give up her love for Khaled, making a strong statement against the strict rules that controlled her life. In a society where her actions were closely watched and her choices were few, Mishal's love for Khaled was a way of asserting her right to make her own decisions, even if it cost her her life. Do you think Mishal should not have confessed? Share your thoughts in the comments. And that's it. If you enjoyed the video and want more like it, be sure to leave a thumbs up below in appreciation. And if you haven't already, you really want to subscribe. Subscribe to my channel and tick the bell icon so you get notified when I upload a new video every week. See you in the next video.